All right, we played a total of 4 hours 46 minutes. Up to that point, we have raised our smelting to over 50, our harvesting to over 50, our mining to over 50. We still got to work some on the leather working. I want to get all these stats up to 50. We can't do anything at zeros. We need at least 50s to be able to do anything marginal. The next thing that we got to look at is weapon mastery. My spear is at 8. I've simply just been wearing it on my back and collecting stray points. The bow is above 10 now, so at 13. But my life staff, which will come in later, is still at a 1, so we have to upgrade that. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to take the staff, move it to the bow, and we're going to use it to kill pigs down here in the starter area and collect their leather. And we're going to do this until we're stocked up on leather. If I run across like any herbs, I will collect the herbs and continue collecting herbs. Those herbs will come in very important for us later. And so we'll continue this, and I'll get back to you when I've got a full load. So at this point, we have our weapon, our staff up to a level 5. So we're getting there. We're going to run that up and match it with the spear and get both of those at 10. Then we'll go back to the bow. We've leveled again. And by doing that, we just added 10% to our logging. And health consumables are now stronger. We will eventually move it up to this. And then to our 50 encumbrance, but that's a long way off. Our next point is to get from here to here on our dexterity. We're going to do that partially by gear and by assignment. On our trade skills, we've now got everything up. Our harvesting, because we're still collecting, has been going up. Our tracking and skinning, as we're getting skins to do the leather working, is still going up. So that's what we're still working on. One more run should get us done at about just over 50. And then we'll switch over and start working on some of the other stuff, such as to do arcana, cooking, and weaving. At this point, what I'm going to do is I am working the leather, but I am no longer selling it. You'll notice I've got me a nice little tidy cash sum here. I'll sell this stuff off. However, in here I'm keeping all my cooking supplies now. I'm keeping my resins, tannin and stuff for my reagents. I'm putting all my leather working in here for the moment. The resources that goes in for my later for my armoring, and especially the arcana. All the high sop, the fire motes, the water, all the wisp and motes I'm keeping in there. I'm not selling those. I've got enough. My armor is working at this point. I will probably not do another armor upgrade until probably level 20. Let's go back, finish this up, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, now we're back. I just did my last load of leather. We've played for 6 hours. Out of that 6 hours, our spear is at an 8, our bow is at a 13, our life staff is at a 9. Now we'll switch off, we'll use the spear and just carry the life staff to tab both of these up to 10s, and then we're good to go for those. Our spear will eventually level with our bow later. The main thing that I wanted for this was the healing abilities, specifically for my own healing abilities. Alright, and that will allow us to have a secondary healing in case we run out of potions later on. It's simply a backup healing function. So the first thing we're going to do now is respec, and we want our heal. This one is totally useless to us as a single heal. That's an ally. See, I want that one, but I've got to get myself down to it. I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. That's my major healing over there. Over here, that deals 146 weapon damage when it hits an enemy. That's the one that I want. But to get that one, I need to go... no. We're going to go ahead and go with this one. And we're going to go with that one. We're not going to put any points in here. But that's going to give us an additional damage and an additional fortify on heals. And that's going to give us the damage and the heals. So what's going to happen is we're going to hit them with, let's see, yeah, we're going to hit them with that one first. Then that's going to attach a healing ring as they close. So as the healing ring reaches us, we start getting heals. And then that will be our major heal after battles. So we can pop if we need to at close quarter. And that gives us additional healings and buffs in case they reach us before we finish with our bow. And then we can throw that down and then switch to the spear for close quarter melee. So now our life staff, once we hit a 10 on life staff, that's about all that you need. The focus is not going to come from our stats. The focus is simply going to come from the life staff as we upgrade it and move it up. So there's that done. Now, the next one is our trade skills. Our leatherworking is now over 50. Our smelting, woodworking, logging, mining, our basics, tracking, harvesting is all over 50. Our other basic that we're going to need to complete the jewel and everything will be the arcana and the weaving. So our next thing is going to be our arcana, because our arcana is going to allow us to make potions. And that's why we've been saving up those herbs and other stuff. So at that point, we now need to, go here. This is all the furs and stuff that we've been putting into the last 2 runs. We've been holding those furs. We've not been selling them like we did in the beginning. We've been holding those furs. That's because once you hit here at 50, we can now use those furs and those aged tannin that we've been saving up to bump ourselves on up some more. See? At this point, now we've got 4 coarse leather. We got 282 to 1. So, just to make things simple, we need 70 aged tannin to complete this cycle. And that's why we've been saving that money up again. Because tannin you typically have to pick up and or make through Arcana later, I do believe. I think you can make it through Arcana. But most of it's a pickup. The cheapest ones are always at the top. He's got 395 available. At 82, we're going to get 100 just for a backload. And so that right there now moves our leather working up to 63. Our tracking is over 100. Our harvesting is over 50. So we're set on all of that. The next thing we need to work on is our Arcana. Then we'll come back, finish off the harvesting, and do the weaving. Then we'll come back, we'll do the mining and do the smelting. From the smelting, we'll do the weaponsmithing. You see how it's starting to tie in. Furnishing, fishing, music, those would be late ends when I'm trying to work with my cooking, the fishing with the cooking. The music and the furnishing is simply secondaries that are not needed in the beginning for survival. Riding, we will not get to level 20, but we're already level 15 in 6 hours. I know that may not seem like much, but you're making considerable progress at that point. Now we're going to take this. We spent 80 gold. We spent 80 gold doing all of that because we bought the aged tannin. Now we're going to sell. We are currently at 558. No, I do not want to sell those. I want to keep those. That sells that. And we still made, we went up to 856 in gold. So even buying that, we still made over a 200, around it, roughly a 200 savings or profit. There's that. And now what we're going to do is we need our Arcana. So let's close this and we'll move on to the Arcana.